What if the biggest threat to Vladimir Putin isn't NATO or Western sanctions, but his own ministers? Yesterday, at the 2025 St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, Russia's Minister of Economic Development, Maxim Rashetnikov, stunned the audience by publicly warning that Russia is on the brink of recession. Speaking candidly in front of Russia's political and business elite, he described a chilling economic hypothermia, a deep freeze in the economy, fueled by falling business confidence, slow growth, and the suffocating impact of tight monetary policies and sky-high interest rates. His warning openly contradicted the Kremlin's narrative of stability and strength, revealing cracks in a system long portrayed as united and resilient. Rashetnikov's stark assessment painted a gloomy picture. While Russia touted 4.3% GDP growth in 2024, real indicators showed the economy slowing dangerously, with only 1.4% growth in early 2025, likely an overestimate, and potential for contraction if swift action isn't taken. His call for rapid policy loosening and economic support came amid mounting signs that Russia's wartime spending, while boosting some sectors, has overwhelmed many others, causing factories to hit production limits, tightening cash flow, and stretching workers thin. It was a rare moment of honesty from within Putin's inner circle. But not all officials agreed. Russia's finance minister, Anton Siluanov, defended the slowdown as expected and manageable, highlighting a solid reserve fund and a budget reshaped in defense priorities. Herman Greff, head of Bank, acknowledged a perfect storm of challenges like inflation, high interest, and a strong ruble squeezing business profits. VTB Bank CEO Andrei Kostin described the economy as icing over, slowly freezing, with credit costs and supply chain problems limiting growth. While trying to avoid panic, these leaders clearly did not share Rashetnikov's sense of urgency. Whether out of optimism or a fear of Kremlin backlash is unclear. This public debate exposed serious divides at the top of a regime that tries to project unity. It revealed competing goals: rapid growth versus inflation control versus budget balance, all strained by the immense costs of war. Meanwhile, Russia's economy is staggering. Inflation hovers around 10%, eroding savings and raising costs for basic goods. Lending rates near 20% choke investment. Industrial output grows sluggishly, and essential imports remain scarce, driving shortages and inefficiencies. The country's war spending now accounts for roughly 6% of GDP, redirecting crucial labor to defense industries and creating critical shortages across the civilian economy. Beyond economic woes, there are deeper systemic cracks. Regional leaders complain of neglected infrastructure, with decaying roads and railways, frequent blackouts, and soaring electricity prices adding pressure on everyday Russians. Silent frustration brewing among business elites, reportedly meeting in secret, centers on mounting losses, estimated at roughly 35% of Russia's total output due to sanctions and the war's economic drag. Public opinion is shifting too. Surveys show up to 40% of Russians starting to question whether the war's staggering human and financial cost is justified as daily life grows harder and money tighter. At the same time, Putin's government has been rocked by waves of purges and mysterious deaths within its ranks. Since May 2024, multiple high-ranking military officials have been arrested for corruption and mismanagement, some caught hoarding cash and gold. Others, like former Transport Minister Roman Stuttelvol, have died under suspicious circumstances, paralleling a strange pattern of deaths of officials, oligarchs, and judges. This climate of fear is suffocating the elite, who feel vulnerable irrespective of loyalty. The purges aim to consolidate control, but expose the regime's growing paranoia and instability. Despite this tense atmosphere, Rashetnikov chose to speak out, perhaps pressured by suffering business factions desperate for change, or trying to align with hard economic realities before it's too late. This act highlights that loyalty comes at a higher cost, and not all officials are willing to ignore the warning signs. The exodus of skilled workers, nearly 1 million since 2022, and capital flight reaching billions despite controls, point to an unraveling foundation. For over 2 decades, Putin has painstakingly crafted the image of an unchallenged, cohesive leader. But these public cracks show this facade weakening. The war's enormous cost, both financial and human, and the economic distortions it causes, cast doubt on the regime's ability to sustain itself. Policy disputes reveal broader questions about whether Russia can maintain its military campaign, which consumes over 10 trillion rubles annually. The regime's survival is increasingly uncertain. Business leaders flee or hide assets abroad, brain drain accelerates, and increasingly restrictive sanctions on oil and gas squeeze Russia's revenues further. Forecasts predict a 10% drop in revenue by 2026. The Kremlin may still survive, but cracks deepen, myths of invincibility fade, and tough choices lie ahead, whether to curb ambitions or risk political chaos.